Hello, my name is Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, and I'm here to talk about the importance of understanding who the Goddess Sophia is, because, of course, she's a part of our divine inheritance as our feminine energy, part of the divine blueprint which we all have within ourselves. And, of course, for the last couple thousands of years, we've been dealing with very patriarchal forces that have very much tried to separate us from understanding who she's all about, because it's very threatening for us to be in touch with this energy because it's connected to Gaia, it's connected to the cosmos, and her story connects us to source energy, the pleroma, where she originated. In the separation of the masculine and feminine, the goddess morphed into the physical planet, and it's our job as humans to understand how to reconnect with this energy so that we can bring the father and mother energies in union again, which allows us to experience the Christ consciousness. Now, of course, separation is an illusion, but in that illusion, what ended up coming forth are Archons. Archons are very much parasitic forces that like to play with our heads, play with our emotions, and keep us locked into programmings and control forces that have been embedded in our culture for thousands of years. And they have attempted to keep the deeper mysteries hidden so that we would not be able to embrace the energies that have everything to do with our movement into higher earth energy. And so when we hear about the myths of Sophia, we have to understand that this connects to our own soul journey. It very much has to do with going into the underworld and into the dark night of the soul to reclaim our power and to understand that there's been all sorts of energies that have prevented us from fully being able to stand in our power and create from our I am creator self. And so when we see the government structures and the religious structures, we have to understand the level of manipulation that is there so that we're not in our sovereign free will and we're not empowered to co-create with the elements. Because when Sophia came into the physical, the soul was created, and she morphed into the physical planet Gaia, and is helping us on a soul level understand what alchemy is and what merging duality is, that being the masculine and feminine, spirituality and science, and all the different forces that have become polarized in our experience. And this, of course, originates with the tree of knowledge and our chance to have the free will to know whether or not through our trials and tribulations, if we're going to let ourselves get led astray or really honor our divine birthright. And the forces that want to lead us astray are very much archonic forces. And this is the result of the masculine and feminine energies splitting. What ends up coming forth is the negative ego. And these negative ego forces have been trying to run the show. And through being exposed to it, we end up empowering our own egos, and we start to get a little bit further and further away all the time. When we give our power away to these forces, we get further away from the truth of who we are. And so my work has a lot to do with helping us to come back to our divine center and to understand that we are made of everything in creation, and we have inherited the blueprint of the Mother, Father, God, and the Trinity, the Christ consciousness that's birthed from them. And in our physical experience, in such a low density, it's been very difficult to maintain this connection because we're born with amnesia. We've been dealing with these life-death cycles, but it's given us a chance to understand that we are walking just like she is in returning to source. And when we do that, we assist the planetary body in moving out of a lower density. And it's very much our personal story of awakening when we start to realize that a lot of the systems that are out there, the patriarchal systems, have been robbing us from understanding the power of the feminine. Then we can call that back and recognize that we are creating this shift from within ourselves. And it's through getting in touch with this that we're able to do that. And, you know, there's so many stories out there that we haven't been able to get in touch with for so long, that this is such a missing link and such a key to our expansion as multidimensional beings. And through taking this step by going into dark territory, going into the soul journey, we're able to reclaim our power and notice that everything starts to shift outside of ourselves. And some of this deep soul journey we see reflected in myth. Very much, the stories of Inanna, the stories of Magdalene, and the stories of Persephone and Demeter show the need to go into this dark place, into the underworld, which is the mother womb, to kick out all the gatekeepers and controllers so that we can rise in our sovereign free will and not live in the illusion of separation. And this is what the Archons are always seeking to keep alive, and we see this through, news and media and all the distortions of the masculine and feminine in the entertainment industries, and just how it's all played out for so long with the persecution of the divine feminine energies, so that we almost feel a lack of permission to embrace this, because our history has made it almost traumatizing to want to come to terms with this. So the reason it's so important right now is because we have to let go of the fear. We have to start to understand that these forces that stand in the way are really unconscious aspects of ourselves that we're learning to integrate. We don't want to go into an us and them mentality. We just have to understand the importance of union. And when we can align our ego with the divine blueprint, then we're able to express this power into the physical world. When we stay in the illusion of separation, it's very easy to be creating for a whole other agenda that we're not in agreement to, and that does not understand the importance of ascension, because these beings who are archonic are very inorganic. They're imitator entities, and what that means is that they're not from they're not originator forces, and they're not generator forces. They basically imitate and utilize our spiritual abilities through technology so that it's fed back to us, and it's sort of like we're feeding it and our free energy is being used against us. So the more aware we are, the more we can start to say no and recognize what the real path is about, because really it's us. We are the shift. We are the real story. And through understanding the mythologies that happen, we can start to have that remembrance, those triggers that say, wow, I can really identify with that. And when we don't consciously identify with it, it's easy to give our power away to medical industries and to governments, and it really causes us to look outside of ourselves for answers, when really we're made of everything, the wisdom, the knowledge, the creativity, and the power, the divine power, to not have to do that. And this is exactly why this energy has been exiled from us, because the union of the masculine and feminine is so incredibly powerful that as long as these archonic forces can keep division, then, it's easy for them to control us as a humanity. And we're rapidly moving out of that. And really the key is to understand our ancient history and what, this is really all about. When the masculine and feminine aren't in union in our lives, we find that it's very hard to create harmony and create balance in our relationships. And so we end up playing out these archonic agendas without realizing it. It's very easy to just sort of buy into the human condition and accept that this is just the way humans are, but in actual fact, we've been running on programmings that have been in place for thousands of years, dealing with a hidden shadow government that has absolutely targeted the union of the divine masculine and feminine. And so understanding Sophia's story is to understand the soul's longing to return to source, and it's a very much an alchemical journey. When we give our power away, we end up getting further and further pulled into the density of matter, and we find that we're very powerless. We have emotional difficulties. We feel that we're in survival. And when we turn our attention to who we really are, this is where the alchemy happens, because we start to illuminate the physical with spiritual energy and power. And when that happens, spirit has dominion over matter, and we're able to create miracles, and we're able to, really understand that we're far more than we've given ourselves credit for. There's so much more to us than we can possibly imagine. And so my personal journey has very much been very archetypal in a lot of ways. I journeyed into the depths of the underworld and really started to understand that path, and that's why I speak about it. That journey of going into places that most people wouldn't want to go, because we're not encouraged to go to those places. We're encouraged to just work, and not honor the necessity of finding our soul energy, which connects us to the power of nature, the regenerative power of nature, and the regenerative power of our consciousness that can basically repair a lot of the damage that we've been seeing. And it's our job to be guardians and way-showers by first taking the step to do the work ourselves. And it's just incredible, because it's that oneness. It's that oneness, and oneness is diversity and harmony. To recognize that each of our roles is important. And in honoring and respecting that, we're able to weave that unity back and find that we're in the unified field, and we're functioning as a whole in this incredible balance, which generates the miracle energy to help us move into higher earth energies. So I hope people will really pay attention to who the goddess is and to really awaken that beauty and that depth and that nurturing creative power within the self in union with the masculine. Because basically the light and dark is all about the darkness being the womb receiving the seeds of higher consciousness to birth new realities. And there's so many different wedges that have pulled us apart from that ability. And now those days are over, and I just look forward to sharing in the unity that we're all manifesting together, because this is the shift time right now, and it's a beautiful thing. So thank you so much.